What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this POV review by Autobahn. My name is Max, and today we are taking a look at another viewer's car. This is Joris, his 2019 Toyota SUPRA A90, and it is not stock. So today I'm going to show you around it. We'll take a look at all the modifications that Joris has made, and then we'll take it for a drive towards the Autobahn for an Autobahn blast. So, SUPRA, we've made reviews of it in the past. I'm going to do a quick recap. Of course, this developed together with BMW, which kind of got a lot of grief. A lot of people thought that it was stupid and that Toyota should not have done that to the SUPRA. On the other hand, they needed to have a straight six in the new SUPRA, of course, and they didn't have one. So they had to produce one, they had to develop a new engine, but not only that, if they wanted to build that engine, they also had to build a new engine plant, so a new factory to build the engines. And that was just way too much. So they turned to BMW for a straight six. Who else? And I think that is full circle, because the B58, which is the engine that you find in this car, is widely regarded as the modern day 2JZ because of its durability and tuning potential, but also the sound has sort of a similar tone sometimes. So yeah, I think it's a good decision. It does mean that you have a lot of BMW switchgear, you know, parts in the interior as well, but yeah, does that really matter? Is that really a deal breaker? I don't think so. They started with a shorter wheelbase version of a BMW 2 Series, and they got everything in there, gearbox, engine, everything, and then they went their separate ways and they started developing their own cars, basically. That is how Toyota developed this car. That is, I mean, if you put this next to a Z4 is just invisible. Right, the way this thing looks, I think they did such a good job. Super aggressive front end, long bonnet, you sit right in front of the rear axle, you've got the double bubble roof and a little ducktail spoiler. As you can see, this has a big wing, but in general the design is already really good. And the aftermarket just went to town with the SUPRA. There are so many parts available, rightly so. It is an amazing car. So at the front we've got an AC Schnitzer front splitter. I think this is just SUPRA, nice and aggressive front bumper with some grating and some vents for air intake. This SUPRA has a Manhart exterior, so you have the striping and the badge at the rear, the striping on the side here as well, and then Toyota Gazoo Racing badges as well. Cool carbon fiber SUPRA badge at the front there. Super aggressive front lights, really like that. And it has these concave wheels. These are hybrid forged series wheels, 20-inch, a 255 front tire, and behind that we've got the regular SUPRA brakes. Brakes are not the best, they work fine, but since this car is tuned, it might be a good option to improve the braking at some point. Some fake bonnet vents here as well, and some more fake vents here on the side, which I think is a shame. Would have been cool if they were real, just like with this one, also fake. But then we have a not so fake spoiler. Look at that. This is amazing. I think it fits this car so well. The shape of this has been done really well, following the trunk lid line there and then going in here and following this line. Very, very good. Just stunning design. I really love that. I think it fits the car so well. It makes it so cool. And then we have the stock exhaust, but we did find out that it has a bypass. So I hope you guys can see that. Yeah, you should be able to see that. So this is a bypass. There are valves in there, which you should be able to open with a remote. There is a remote in the car, but it doesn't work, so the valves don't open. And then if you get underneath here, you can see, I hope you guys can see that, but I can see the OPF still in place there. And I think that is an issue for this car because it has been tuned by Bake in the Netherlands, and it should have 580 horsepower and 700 newton meters of torque. Where's the thing? So it's a BMW. You need to pull that thing twice, of course. Freaking idiot. Okay, so we've got the B58 right here, an Eventuri intake, a pure 800 turbo, and a DCAT downpipe. And as I said, tuned by Bake in the Netherlands, 580 horsepower, 700 newton meters of torque. But that valve doesn't open in the exhaust, and I believe that the OPF is still in place. So it feels like the car is not really performing the way it should, but I'll let you guys hear that in a second. But it does feel very powerful in the mid-range. So yeah, I'll just explain more about that later. Stock 340 horsepower and 500 newton meters of torque. So it is a big upgrade over stock. But as I said, these engines are very, very suitable for tuning, and just, yeah, it's amazing. We do a lot of M340i parts on our shop, autotopnl.shop. So that's very similar to this car, and it's just amazing. The platform is great. Now in here you can see that they developed it together with BMW. You can see the BMW switchgear here. Here you can see the software, the iDrive here, and the gear lever as well, very similar. But you can see that this has been developed as a right-hand drive car, I feel like, because this is all tilted away towards the passenger or the driver when it's a right-hand drive car, and you can see that this is closed off and this is open. So it feels like this is, yeah, they just put the steering wheel on the other side and forgot about everything else. We do have a different gauge, which I really like, with that physical part basically that lights up. Very nice, love that gauge. Sound wise, it feels sport mode. I'm not going to rev it too loud because the sheepies are here, but it feels like it should be louder, and it also feels like this is a very restricting factor for a, you know, turbo upgrade car. So I think it is suffering from that. Manual mode for the gearbox, and then traction control off. Now, as I said, the mid-range feels really strong in this car. Also the throttle mapping is very aggressive, so this might be the most tail-happy car I have ever driven. It is insane. It's like on old AMG levels. That's how easy and how willingly this car goes sideways. It's hilarious. So we have some remotes over there, as I said, for the exhaust, but it won't open, unfortunately. It is hilarious though, but it's very weird. The car also has a KW suspension kit. And it's a very weird car to drive because the front end feels super direct. As you can see, it turns in really well, so the front is very compliant. It just goes immediately when you turn the wheel, but then the rear feels like it's on ice. So it's kind of a very tight down front end, and then the rear is kind of trying to follow that. It's a super strange experience, and something you don't have in a Z4. Now, I don't know if that has something to do with the fact that this car has the KW, or it has the 20-inch wheels, or I don't know, just a power increase. It's very strange, but it just spins its wheels all the time. But I do love that front end. But again, let me just open the window so you can hear that sound properly. It just, it feels a bit squeezed, right? It really, I think it would benefit enormously from an OPF delete mid-pipe and maybe a back box as well. Because it feels like the flow is being restricted. So yeah, especially at the top of the revs, it kind of starts feeling a little bit asthmatic, like it's out of breath. Incredible. It is just all over the place. It's fine as long as you know it, as long as you know to expect, you know, that rear end stepping out everywhere. But it is just so much fun. It's not very good, because you would want it to stick a little bit better, even with this amount of power, you would expect it to stick a little bit better, but it is just a hoot to drive it. It really is. It's so much fun. But Joris already said that he was thinking about getting a Grabación exhaust, and we are a Grabación dealer, so yeah, we might be able to figure something out, and then I hope that that will solve part of the problem. It's just sideways everywhere. It's insane. So especially on the Autobahn, of course, when we do our measurements, we notice that, you know, this, what is it, like 1500 something car, we did 100 to 200 in 7.8 seconds, and it should be quicker. It should be like, I don't know, close to 7 at least. If you look at our list, you can see that the cars in the neighborhood are like, you know, Audi TT RS with 492 horsepower, which I think, you know, four-wheel drive, it might weigh around the same, and it has 100 horsepower less almost. And there are a couple other cars that kind of make us wonder about the power of the car, but I think that's also down to the restricting exhaust. So 7.8 is still a quick car, don't get me wrong, it's a very quick car. I just love the way it looks, and that wing on the rear is one of the best modifications I've ever seen, because it feels like a 90s, like an 80s, 90s tuner car, and it just has an amazing vibe to it. It is a bit busy though, it's Saturday 11 o'clock in the morning, SUPRA Saturday, some would say. So yeah. I don't know if we get some space, but we'll see. Well, that mid-range, this like 4,000 to 5,000 RPM, and you just hit half throttle, and it feels so torquey. Now I feel like I'm better off shifting, you know, a lot earlier, maybe 6,500 RPM tops. I just feel like the car's a bit happier that way. So that's 263, and yeah, I don't have a digital speedo with me. Oh, it's in the GoPro. It's in the GoPro because I turned on the GPS, right? Yes, so the GPS is on, so I should be able to get a digital speedo for you guys. But I think Martijn did like 290 something, and he felt like the car should be able to do higher speed more easily, because with his M340i, same engine, and the stage 2 tune, which is basically like 460, 470 horsepower, with just a downpipe and a tune and an intake, and I did, I don't know, 312 with that car. So yeah, it should be quicker. So let's find out if we get some more space on the other side. Oh, that front end is very good. It just... that front end, maybe it's because that front end is so sticky that the rear end is just constantly trying to keep up and stepping out. It's all over the place. I got a thumbs up from that guy. So even here, I feel like just not even touching the throttle, the car will just weight transfer into a drift. So it's a bit too busy anyway to do anything else, but if you want to check out that 290 run, click in the top right corner. Joris, thank you so much for coming. I hope that you or we will be able to fix the exhaust issue with the car, and that you will be back, because I think it will really benefit from more free flow exhaust, and yeah, should be very, very cool. I know that you were thinking about doing it anyway, so yeah, let's see if we can make something happen, and I hope to see this car back again, because it is awesome. I love the way it looks. I love the way it feels. I love the just the drift car character of it. So yeah, massive thanks, Joris. To you guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. You can subscribe by clicking the big button. Make sure you do that. You can also check out this video, this playlist, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye.